Hey guys, how are you? So we're going to be doing our episode 13 of Soft Rain, and I'm going to have another guest reader today for just a little bit, and then I'm going to take over reading, and she's going to ask us questions while I read, so that'll be kind of fun for us. So without further ado, Gracie Jo Schultz. Make sure you read nice and loud, okay?
Over her from a piece of cloth she had saved for a dress. Try to sleep, daughter, she repeated again and again. Soft rain lay shaded, but not cool. When she tried to sit, she vomited, not always in the bucket. The smell grew worse. She sniffed, rubbing her nose, but the stench would not go away. She slept, awoke, turned, coughed. It was dark. Quiet. She slept, awoke. It was light. She did know how many days passed in this way before her coughing became less. When she awakened to see Aunt Key bending over her, someone else was coughing nearby. Who is it? She asked. Shh, your mother now has the
Coughing disease.
Soft Rain sat up and saw her mother lying next to her in the shade of the tent. Crawling over to her, she gently touched her lips to Mother's forehead. Where is Green Fern? Soft Rain whispered to Aunt Key. Is she well now? Aunt Key lowered her eyes. Tears came. The disease
Oh no.
of the white men killed my daughter, and the soldiers have taken my husband from me. My sister and you are the only family now. Suffering climbed to Aunt Key's lap. Green Fern was my best friend, she sobbed.
How sad is that?
Really sad.
Really sad. The disease killed Green Fern, which remember Green Fern had lost a lot of weight and was tired and hungry when she got sick. So maybe she wasn't as prepared for that sickness as Soft Rain was. But that is super sad because I know Soft Rain was looking forward to having a friend. Gracie's going to stay with me for the rest of this reading. And if she has any questions about the story, she's going to ask us. Rain comes. Aunt Key helped Soft Rain care for Mother. She shared her water ration with them, just as they had when Green Fern was ill. For many nights, Soft Rain fell asleep crying, awakening with a start when Mother coughed or heaved, struggling to breathe. Afterward, she'd fall back asleep in Aunt Key's arms. When Mother was a little better, Aunt Key said, "Walk around, Soft Rain. Talk with the children." Soft Rain shook her head. "Not until Mother is all well. Then it became too hot to move." For most of each day they sat under the shade of Mother's tent. Aunt Key and Mother talked about when they were little girls. It's a good idea to remember good times when you're sick and things aren't going well. Try and stay positive. "When didn't you go to school?" Soft Rain asked. "We didn't have to," Aunt Key answered. "We learned stories and cooking and sewing from our mother, your grandmother. They didn't have to go to school." "And from your grandmother?" Soft Rain asked. Mother smiled. "Yes, she was a good teacher and storyteller." Soft Rain thought about her own grandmother. Would she get to see her again? How would she ever hear another of her stories? How would she remember the ones grandmother had told her? While listening to Aunt Key and Mother, she figured out a way. Every day, she thought, if I can recall a story, Then tell it. I will remember. Listen to me tell one of Grandmother's stories, she said. Mother and Aunt Key nodded. When I was a girl, she began, this is what I was told about the Yuktana, that huge snake that has shining scales and horns on its head. She paused. Her mother smiled. It lurks in deep river pools and dark mountain passes. Once two brothers went hunting in the mountains. While one was looking for a deer, he came upon the great Uktena, coiled around a man who was fighting for his life. Taking careful aim, the hunter sent an arrow through the snake. The man was so grateful for his life. He found a glittering scale from the snake, burned it to coal, wrapped it in deerskin, and gave it to the hunter. Hey, Gracie, why is she telling this story?
What story?
She's telling this story about the Uktana and the huge snake. Why is she telling it? You weren't paying attention, were you? That's okay. It's about, she's telling this because she wants to remember the stories that her grandmother was telling. And so she's retelling it. She's going to tell one that her grandmother told every day so she can try and remember it. You can always kill game as long as you keep this, he said. And from that day on, the hunter found game wherever he went. Sharing stories helped Soft Rain forget her troubles and overcome some of her grief about Green Fern. She remembered how Grandmother and Old Roving Man had told stories to each other. She could still see Old Roving Man's thin fingers tugging on the ends of his white hair as he began a story. When the smell of sickness in the camp worsened, the soldiers began opening the gate every evening. The real people lined up and filed out to empty the overflowing mess buckets. Oh, it's so gross. Soft Rain watched the river become lower and lower, too low for anyone to bathe in. Her skin felt stiff with dry dirt and old sweat. She saw that all of her people were as dirty as the soldiers. Every day the soldiers brought them less water. She was always thirsty. She wished and wished for rain, but none came. Mother rationed water carefully throughout the day. Sip slowly and stay still, she said each time they drank. She and Aunt Key stopped telling stories about their childhood. Aunt Key's thoughts were far away. Her eyes were often staring at something Soft Rain could not see. She never talked about Green Fern. Finally, Soft Rain asked her why. We do not talk about those who have gone on to the Nightland, she answered. But we don't talk of Father Hawk Boy and Uncle Swimming Bear either, Soft Rain thought. They haven't gone to the Nightland. She tried to remember a story of how the sun's daughter was turned into a red bird when she was brought back from the Nightland when she had forgotten most of it. Mother, do you remember the story of the sun? Now is not a good time for a story, Soft Rain, Mother said. That surprises me that Mother says it's not a good time for a story. She was the one always encouraging Soft Rain to go tell other children the story, to stay positive, to think ahead, to think smart. So I guess she's getting beaten down because after so much time of this negative and this hardness, I guess you would start losing hope. And I feel like that might be what Mother's doing because that goes against her character to tell her that now's not a time for a story. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.